That's kind of covered by that item 3. I think you.
Instead of improvements on the road, right?
Yep.
Thanks. Thank you very much. I
Yes, ma'am.
appreciate that.
Thank you guys for your time.
So we have a motion,
So moved with conditions.
so a motion to approve with
would second.
conditions, and we have a second. All in favor, raise your hand. No opposition, the item passes. Next item.
Yes, ma'am. Item number 5. Discussion of phase 1 of zoning code revisions, clerical errors, reference errors, and redundancies in current code.
So, we have outlined a, strategy for, quickly revamping, improving the current zoning code we have. It's been pretty much agreed with these steps I have outlined here in the, staff report, with all the powers that be, that this is the steps we're gonna follow to improve the code. Step 1 is before you tonight, addressing the clerical errors, references, and redundancies, as Mr. Ledbetter said. Step 2 will involve addressing problems in the code that community development, code enforcement, et cetera, deal with every week. I won't go into detail on that. Step 3 is improvements of existing overlays, including the airport overlay. And step 4 will be inclusions of new chapters and standards in the code, including countywide architectural standards. So, step 1 is before you. I did not print out in an effort to save some forest land in Spalding County. And it also is a very good cure for insomnia, but it is necessary to do. There's quite a few errors in there, which I did put in bold red and cross outs and things of that nature. This is not really an action item tonight. It will be probably an action item in March, along with step number 2, but I just want to start getting the ball rolling on this and put this before you so you can see what the kind of the intent and scope is, and what we're trying to do, just to get y'all involved with the process.
And I have a question or two. Early on, David, when I was reading through that, there was some green text in that. Is there a difference between green and red?
I don't remember.
Okay, all right, well, I was just
I'm
curious.
impressed you got that far.
Well, and then, so if we see things that
Sure.
maybe like definitions, cause I noticed one in there is about like number of pets, and it was like 4, and there was a question of why 4. And I guess that was your question? or-
Yes.
Okay.
So that'll be some step 1, some step 2, but by all means,
Okay.
you know, give me your input, because we're gonna, I'm not saying this will never change again in the future of the county, but we're gonna do this right this time, so let's get it all now.
Okay.
So, yes,
But you want us to just send those comment in an
Yes.
email, I guess? Okay,
Yes.
Okay.
Bill, did you say there was a provision limiting to 4 cats?
Yeah.
Well, there was something in there
or
about,
chickens, I think. Was it
Oh,
chickens?
still
cats.
make cats
Well,
It's
and,
cats?
and dogs. Yeah.
Used to
well,
be
cats,
chicken.
dogs, hoofed animals.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know we had a chicken
rabbits.
fight about 10 years ago.
But yeah, there was the limit of 4
Yeah.
Okay.
for some reason.
Right. Very interesting.
Well, at least it was an even number.
Yeah.
True.
Couldn't
Yeah,
have
so
any
it's an
kittens
even
though. You
fight.
know, might throw them over the limit. But yeah, no, I'd glanced through and saw some of those as well. And, I do want to say, you know, appreciate the efforts, because you
gosh,
definitely
yes.
have put a lot of effort in already. It certainly, some cleanup effort is needed, and I think that will be a step in the right direction. I guess one other thing that has been mentioned and discussed on a number of occasions, I know you even had moved a few of there was a few things with overlay, you had moved down into the overlay section because it wasn't in the right area and stuff. But, I know we had talked on several occasions about the AKB overlay and just the need to maybe revisit that and consider some adjustments, in today's time. And so, should we also be considering that level as we go along, or more just the basics?
No,
of that
that's
overlay?
step number 3, and if you want to start including that as well, that's correct.
Okay,
But we had agreed to give priority to AKB.
Yes.
Some
That
priority
is
to
correct.
AKB.
We had agreed to give priority to AKB, and, David, if you would, please send out to the commissioners the covenants for the lakes at Green Valley, because that is one of the considerations that we're asking for the overlay update, is that there be consistency between the covenants that's currently implemented for the lakes and the remainder of AKB.
Okay.
right. Because I know there was that adjacent property there that the developer had come saying they were gonna stick with that, and it's kinda gone quiet and been just sitting there for a while, but I know that they were at least gonna try to work out the same criteria. But I do think that's important, if we could, you know, as you mentioned, Bill, I think, it would be helpful maybe if we, as we respond with comments and stuff, if we do that to the group,
Oh, yeah,
we'll
yeah, I would
all
do that.
know what
Yes.
people are saying, we'll be
Right,
just
right.
covering him up with duplications and stuff.
Definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
No, yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Cause I guess I was just thinking of taking what he sent and maybe go in and use a different color, a different font.
Sure.
You know, here's
That's fine.
Bill's thoughts, and may add 6 cats or whatever.
Can we do a shared file, or is it too big?
No, we do.
You've got OneDrive, so you can send out the link to OneDrive and
Yeah.
make it applicable for everyone to input their
comments.
considerations. Just as an aside also, we have a off-airport stakeholders committee for our new airport, our new regional airport. That group is made up of about 23 of our citizens across the county. And they are in the process, with David's direction. I think you're the one that's been designated as chair for that particular subcommittee for the overlay. As you get into the new airport overlay, put your 2 cents worth in, but also come and be a part of those discussions if you're able, because there's a lot that's going on with those discussions. The FAA advisory circular is playing a big role in that overlay, because the FAA will be involved now with approval of those developments that go in and around, or not in, but around the airport specifically, because they're looking at height distances and types of considerations. I would offer one thought. There was a conversation that I had with one of our adjoining communities, adjoining counties earlier today, and they had petitioned the FAA for a data warehouse that was going to be adjacent to the new airport, or the new portion of the airport that they're constructing, and the FAA rejected it. So there are a lot of things that we need to consider as we're walking through this consideration for our new airport.
And if I could follow that up, Dr. Steve, on AKB, y'all need to be aware that between Lamar County, Butts County, and Spalding County, along the I-75 and Georgia 16 corridor, there is right now either under development or planned over 31 million square feet of industrial space, warehouses, commercial space, and so forth. And that, for that reason, and our AKB, now let me acknowledge I've had some role in helping that development along in other counties, but if you look at the protections we have put in AKB, and you look at Green Valley and compare that to what is being developed elsewhere, no, we're not getting the 20 million square foot space, but our corridor has been protected. So AKB is a crucial component of that.
Given that this item was discussion only, there's no necessity for any kind of vote or action for the commission, and I appreciate, I also add my comment of appreciation, David, for the many hours and the work that you put in. I had trouble just reading it, so, I can't imagine doing the work. I've done similar work before, but nothing at this size or scope. So, are there any more items as for consideration or discussion or things that any member of the commission would like to discuss?
Yes, ma'am, you have one more item on the agenda this evening. It's item number 4,
Thank you.
minutes. The approval of January 28, 2025 meeting minutes.
Thank you.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the previous meeting. Is there a vote? All that approve, raise your right hand.
Did we actually rule on item 2 and 3?
You tabled them.
No, so, okay, I'm sorry. I'm behind.
There's no amendment to the, having, then it passes unanimously for the approval of the minutes.
Report of the Commissioners is up next, ma'am.
Are there any comments or, what'd you say?
It says report of the Commissioners. Do you have any comments from the Commissioners?
Do we have any
Well,
comments,
I'll
anything?
just give an update on the RV campground. Talked with 3 different counties, and I've got stuff rolling around in my head, and I guess I need to talk with David and Newton, what is the appropriate format to get that back, so we can try to keep that on track for the 90-day limit. I guess in my plan, I was gonna try to get you all something back to look at in March. Now,
Okay.
that would be Bill's thoughts of that, so.
I'm sorry, are you proposing a work session for us and the staff? Or,
I mean, you know, it's a pleasure of you guys, cause all I was gonna do was take the comments I've gotten from 3 different places and try to put that in some format that we could look at. And now I don't know what that would be.
Well, if I might just throw something out there, and it may not be in line with kind of what you're thinking, but, again, David had put together
Right,
and
right.
made some corrections to and improvements to,
Yes.
something already. And again, if we could possibly do another shared document with that we could kind of build upon, and you could put that information in there, and we could add some comments.
Yeah,
I think that could be helpful.
Yeah, man, my only comment, because I know there were a couple of, I'll say, emails with different parts of it. And if you could get the latest, you know, your last thoughts, because I'm just going back to that previous application, I got a little confused of, seemed like 2 different sections of that ordinance, and it's probably confusion on my part. But if you could say, Bill, here's what you have, and I could go back with that. Because I don't want to go back in my emails to get the wrong, like what you got tonight, pull out the,
You know, one thing that's gonna majorly impact it and a lot of other stuff as well is, when we're changing the definitions in the zoning code update is the definitions of collector roads, local roads and such.
Right.
Based on the new definitions, which is based on GDOT, not just something I'm creating out of thin air.
sure,
There is very few collector roads or arterial roads in the county. So you go put that as a stipulation on any of these controversial things, you
Right,
very much
right.
limited where they can go.
yeah.
So,
Well, and that's one of the prime considerations is main
Right.
access.
Yeah, and that's what, I think, you know, that's very pertinent, as well as any type of protected zone and stuff like that.
Yes.
Right,
That
right.
we can make some limitations on, I think are important. Okay.
But I'm just asking for a clean version of yours,
okay,
so I don't misrepresent and get wrong snippets by me cutting out.
right.
So, that's it, sorry.
Any more comments or anything any commissioners would like to add or say more about? If
Good.
not, then I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second for adjournment. All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, there is no opposition. It passes unanimously, and I thank you for your time. and
Don't forget, we
energy.
have snacks.
Who's got the
Don't
food?
forget, we have snacks. There's biscuits in here. Hi, man.